Hello viewers, welcome back. So in today's session, we will be seeing how are we going to pass inventory entries. So in the last session, we saw how we created our inventory masters, that is our stock group, stock item, and unit of measure. So in this session, we will make a purchase entry, a sale entry, and also we will see how we can record purchase return entry and also sales return entry. So this will again be a basic entry on inventory, which will take care of your inventory movement tracking. Okay, so let me just quickly share my screen. So what you see on the screen here is basically the first inventory entry of inventory coming into your organization, which is predominantly by way of purchases. Okay, so I'm going to show you now one purchase, one sale, and one debit note or credit note, which is your debit note is for purchase return and credit note is for your sales return. So I have a dedicated video on understanding the concept of debit note and credit note, and also multiple use cases have been given by me in those videos. So if you have not seen that video, you may just go back and then see the video to understand the uh, transaction capturing through debit note and credit note. Okay. So now, uh, as usual, first I will show the entries that you're going to pass in Tally Prime. One set of entry I will show in Tally Prime, and another set of entry I will show in Tally ERP. Okay. So first is Tally Prime. So we had created our master, so we know where to go and see our master. Just in case you want to see your chart of account or your list of inventory masters, so you know that you come to chart of account and then you can select your stock items, and this is where you are going to see all your stock items, including your group subgroup. Okay, now see, like I mentioned earlier, so the best part of Tally Prime is that from wherever you are, you can actually do whatever you want to do. Like for example, we are on in the chart of account. Now, what is that you need to do? You have to make this purchase entry, right? So instead of pressing escape, going to the gateway of Tally and then going to the voucher and then selecting your voucher, you can do this from here itself. That's the advantage of Tally Prime. So this advantage you will not get it in Tally ERP. Okay. So how do I now go to my voucher entry? Right. So remember your secret number three. Right. Your secret number three, which is the Google of Tally, is go to. Click on go to, and when you click on go to, on top, so by default the go to is going to give you the list of all the reports that you can access. And if you see here, the common report that you are seeing is in bold, which means that's a menu. And under that common report menu, these are the reports. What you see in the normal font, these are the various reports that are classified under the common report. Okay. So similarly, you now see various other names which are there in bold. So which means again, these are the cluster or the set of reports which are classified under that group. You can call this as a group, right? So if you go to final account, right, and then when you press enter, it is now going to actually give you the reports that are classified under final account. Or you can just press alt enter. When you press alt enter, it is going to explode the list of reports that are available under the cluster or the group of final account, right? So this way you have different types of report being segregated for the user to access them, right? So that's the report part. But the important actionable that you can achieve through this go to is on top is what is the menu that is there. So basically it says you can alter a master, you can create a master, and what is that we want? We want to create a voucher, right? So just take your cursor on top, or you can just click here, and then when you press enter, right, it is now going to open up your voucher screen, right? So this is how you can do it. Just for the benefit of all, let me just again go back, and then let me come through the proper menu path. Okay, I hope this is clearer. So you can, anything that you want to do in Tally Prime, just press Alt G and see, 99% of the time you will achieve what you wanted to do, literally 100% also. Okay, so now I'm going to press escape. All right, I'm going to press escape. Now I am in the gateway of Tally. The normal way of passing a transaction is, so you have this transaction section. Under the transaction section, now you have vouchers, and there is a daybook. Daybook basically gives you the list of all the transactions that you have entered, irrespective of what voucher type that you have used. It gets listed in the daybook. So when we come to the reporting part, we will understand more about the daybook, and we will also see what all other techniques that we can use in the various reports. Okay, so now voucher, my cursor is already selected. So I'm going to press enter, and now I'm back again in the voucher. Now, if you remember, in my previous video, I had mentioned to you that when we enable inventory and then when we come to inventory, we will we will discuss about the different mode in which we can enter our purchase, sales, debit note, and credit note, right? So basically, if you see, Tally gives you three modes of entry, or the three interface through which you can pass your transaction. What are the three modes? One is the voucher mode. So the voucher mode, if you recall, during our accounting module session, we passed a couple of entries for each of the voucher type to understand how the accounting entries are passed. Now, for me to go and check those entries, the easiest way is that I go to my statistics report. How do I go to my statistics report? It is very simple. One is that I can always use my go to, right? I press Alt G, and then I'm going to type statistics. Okay, so I'm going to get the statistics here, enter. Now the statistics report is going to give me the list of all the voucher types that are by default available in Tally, and also the user can create your own voucher type, which again, in one of our previous session, I had covered about how you can create a user defined voucher and what are the configurations that you can do for a voucher type. Okay, so here, let's just come to sale. Just type yes. It will now go to the sale, right? So it will actually go as per the alphabetical order. So the first S is the sales. So it says there are two entries we have already passed. So I enter here, and then it is going to tell me month-wise summary. It says in the month of April how many sales voucher you have passed, and in the month of May. So that way it will give you the statistics of your count of vouchers on a monthly basis. So I can just select one May month. Okay, and here there is this one voucher that we have passed. If you recollect, you will know. So here, if you see, we have made a sale entry. So the sale entry is made to India Mart, 75,000 rupees, and we have credited our sale, right? So it's a simple accounting entry, right? So this is the voucher mode. We call this as a voucher mode, right? So where you use your, what we learned in our fundamental, right? Debit a ledger, credit a ledger, right? So now what we are going to do, uh, So now when we come to uh, voucher entry, I am now seeing my sales again in the voucher mode. Where the moment, how do you recognize that it is a voucher mode? So where in the first line it says debit, or for somebody it might be saying buy, right? So debit or buy. So that means it is a voucher mode where you will have one debit value and the credit value, right? So now here we are now purchasing these items. What is the easiest way to capture this transaction in our purchase voucher? So so first is that I have to now convert into a purchase voucher, right? So how do I now bring my purchase voucher, because by it has now got my sales voucher here. So basically Tally brings your last saved voucher when you go into the voucher. So now remember your secret number one, that is the right hand side button bar. On the right hand side button bar, you see F9 button, which is purchase. When I click on F9, now I'm going to get this purchase voucher, and suddenly you see a new interface where there is no debit credit. Now it says party's name, and then so many other things are there. And if you notice here, it very clearly asks you, tell me what are the items that you are buying. It says name of the item, right? So this is called as item invoice, where you can capture your accounting information, and also you can capture your inventory information. Okay, so this is the second mode, and a very important mode when you are now going to deal with inventory also. This is the most easiest, convenient, and I will also discuss about the advantage of passing this entry through an item invoice mode. Okay, the other, so basically it's an invoice mode. Okay, so what do you mean by invoice mode? If you take your purchase invoice, so you have purchased this, like for example, this particular entry of ours, which we are going to enter. It says on 1st of June, we have purchased the following items from Messrs. Global Distributors, vide their tax invoice 108. Okay. Now, if you take the Global Distributors invoice, you will see that it is very clearly, more or less, it is going to be exactly, the item is going to be there, quantity is going to be there, rate is going to be there, and the amount is also going to be there, exactly the replication of the physical invoice that you are having. For you to make an entry, Tally is going to give you an interface in where you can enter exactly like the physical invoice. So that's your item invoice. The other type of invoice of your purchase or sales that you can do is the accounting invoice. Now, this is where I had mentioned earlier that we will discuss at the right time. Now, one is the item invoice. So, the moment you get this item invoice, that means that you have enabled inventory module in Tally, and you are now accounting inventory information also. Okay. Now let's take a user of Tally who is a service provider, like for example, chartered accountants, tax consultant. Okay, so training institutes. Okay, so these are service-oriented organizations, and lot of service industries. They use Tally. So how do they now? I mean, like in case. So this way, what happens? One is that I am going to make a purchase entry through an invoice mode, and also when I'm going to sell, instead of passing my sales entry as a voucher mode, I can enter as a invoice mode. What is the advantage? The advantage is that now from within Tally, I can print my sales invoice. So I don't need any other third party tool for me to, raise an invoice, or I don't need a manual book for me to maintain invoice. Okay. And when we come to statutory taxation part, especially the GST part, you will know that the invoice that you're going to generate in Tally for your sales will be in compliant with the requirement of the invoice information or the invoice format as prescribed by the GST statute. Okay. So that way, you can make a sale entry, and then you can print your sales invoice, give it to your customer. So that way you are achieving three objectives. One, your sales invoice is already, you can print your sales invoice, wherein you can avoid any other external duplicating work. Number two, your accounting information gets captured. And number three, your inventory information also gets captured. Okay. So this is as far as the uh, accounts and inventory organizations are concerned. So the other type of invoicing, let us say I am a chartered accountant. Now I have to raise an invoice on my client for my professional services, right? So does Tally, support the service industries the way Tally supports a generation of invoice for your inventory item? Can I generate an invoice for my services, which means now I don't have any inventory item, and you don't even need to create any inventory item for your professional services, right? Without enabling inventory, whatever is the ledger that you are creating, you can use the ledger. For example, I can say audit charges, or I will say professional charges, or I will have a ledger called consultancy charges. Now I can bring this ledger in my sales invoice, and then I can specify what is the amount that I am going to charge in this particular invoice, and I can print this invoice and give it to my client. Again, even for this kind of an, so this is what is called as accounting invoice. So there is no inventory involved into it. Again, the accounting invoice also Tally supports as per the requirement of GST statute. Okay. So these are the two invoice mode that is there: item invoice, accounting invoice, and the third one what we saw is your normal voucher mode, which is your debit and credit. Okay. So now we are in the purchase invoice. So we are going to enter this in the purchase invoice, and now you will see some of you, especially the beginners, some of you who are still confused with this debit, credit, and all those things. The invoice mode of voucher entry of your purchase or sale is going to like relieve you of that burden of putting too much of thoughts into your head of which ledger to be debited, which ledger to be credited. You see the interface and you see how easy, simple it is. Okay. So I am in the purchase invoice, right? So I've already done my two purchases. So that's my purchase voucher number is coming here, right? And I'm going to now change the date. How do I change the date? Again, you see here, F2 is your shortcut button, or you can, since my cursor is already there, I can type 1/6. So that's all I need to do. I don't have to enter the year. So we have discussed all this in our previous session. Okay. So now it is asking me my party name. So whom am I selling to? I am selling to Global Distributors. Okay, so I have to now. So it is asking you, from whom are you buying? Who is the party who is selling to you? From whom are you buying? So now I need to get Global Distributors. So I'm going to type GLO, and Global Distributor is not there. This ledger is not there. So now I'm sure that all of you know that you don't have to really worry. So either you go here, press create, or press Alt C to create. So enter. It is now taking you to the ledger creation. So I'm going to now type, and if you notice for global again, so these are some of the magics of Tally. So you really don't have to, press shift and press G for global, and then for distributor, you don't have to press shift and D. Tally will auto capitalize your, ledgers depending, auto, auto, sorry, auto capitalizes. It auto capitalizes your names. Okay, so I did not press Alt G. I just press G. It capitalized. Now for distributor again, I'm not going to press Shift key. I'm just pressing distribute D, IST. Okay, so the moment I type the subsequent letters, you will notice that D is capitalized. So DISTRABU distributors. Okay, and this person is my sundry creditors. Okay, so sundry creditors is a default group that Tally provides you. right? Rest nothing we have to worry currently, right? So again, if you recall, for us to save a screen or save a form after to save a form as it is after you have done. So what I did, we created the name of the ledger and I put them under the correct parent. So other options, I really don't have to do anything. So the shortcut key for saving the screen is Control A. Press Control A, the ledger master is created and also it populates in the party's name. So you don't have to again go and select them. Okay. The next one now here it asks purchase ledger, right? So by default, right? So this purchase ledger will be there. So this is called as common purchase ledger. So what do we mean by common purchase ledger? Okay, it's very important for us to understand. Okay, so let us say that in this organization, I have created only one purchase ledger. That is, I've just created a common, a single ledger called purchases, so that all the purchases, all the item I want to put it into my purchase account. So this purchase ledger that I'm going to select. It is going to now update the my accounting books. So remember, we are now maintaining two books of accounting book and inventory book, right? So this is what I'm going to do. Now, some of you, many of the organizations, as on today, Tally has 20 lakh licensed users. So out of this 20 lakh licensed users, there are many users who will have different purchase ledger for different types of item. It could be different item based purchase ledger and various other things, right? So in that case, if all the item, so like for example, you see here, all these item that I'm going to buy, I want them to be classified into my common accounting ledger called purchases, right? So I am going to now tell Tally that any item that I'm going to now enter here, okay? So it is asking name of so you have to basically say what is the name of the item. So any item that I'm going to enter here, the value of that item will get added up to your single ledger called purchase ledger. Okay, so it is going to put the total of your total cost of your purchase into this particular ledger, so that you don't have to every time select the ledger. Now, what is that? You would not know. So first is that by default the common purchase ledger is there. So the example that I gave you, if it meets your requirement, then you don't have to worry. Just select purchase ledger and then type the name of the ledger. Now, sometimes you will not get this common purchase ledger the way you are seeing here. So then if you want it, because you have only one purchase ledger, all the item you want to go into the one single purchase ledger. So if it is not going to be visible to you, then use your secret number 2. That is your F12 configuration. There are a lot of configurations. So we will discuss about these configurations as we move forward or as we get acquainted with Tally little better. Okay. So there is one option here. Just see this. Select common ledger account for item allocation. Now I have made this as yes. That is why you are getting this. Supposing if I make this as no, if it is no, then if you see here, it is just going to ask you the name of the uh, party from whom you are buying. Okay, so I have selected my party. Now Tally is asking me, tell me what item are you buying? Okay, so now if you just press spacebar, you will now see that Tally is now giving you the list of stock items that we have created, right? So these are the items that we created, if you recall in our previous session, right? So it's giving you the list of item. So it says, tell me which item you are buying. Now, if you see here in our example, the item that we are buying is uh, Dell laptop i3. So this is not 13, i3. We are buying 10 quantities. So the rate is 35,000 per item. So this is going to be the total amount. So you really don't have to worry. Tally is going to do all the calculation. Now Tally is asking you, tell me what is the item that you are buying. right? So if you see here, uh, we are buying these items. The first item that we are buying is Dell laptop i3. What is the quantity you are buying? 10 numbers, right? So I'm going to now enter in Tally. So it is asking you name of the item. If you can just type it, or if you don't get the list of stock item now, just press space bar. When you press space bar, now Tally is going to give you the list of stock items. If you remember, we created all these items in our previous session. So here you're going to select. So you just type the name of the item. So just type Dell. It is going to now filter and then give you all Dell. So the first item is that. So just you can use your down arrow, or you can use your mouse to click select that. The moment you select this, it is now going to ask you, tell me what is the quantity that you are buying. So I'm going to say I'm buying 10 numbers, and it says what is the rate at which you are buying. So 35,000 is the rate at which I'm buying. Enter amount. Okay, now you will see the difference of, we discussed about the common ledger. So when we made the in F12 configuration, when we made select common ledger as yes, we saw, I'll come back and then we will do the other one also. So we saw it was asking you on the top itself, tell me what is your accounting ledger, where the total of this item that you are purchasing should get uh, debited to, right? So now if you press enter, now it is asking you, because what have we done, we have entered the item, we said this is the item I am buying, and we said this is the quantity that I am buying, this is the rate at which I am buying, and this is the amount, right? So now Tally, once you save this voucher, Tally will now update your inward movement of your inventory, because through purchase, inventory is going to come into your organization. So it is going to make an inward entry. So it is this, you have specified your inventory book information, 10 numbers at 35,000, 3.5 lakh rupee, right? Now you also have to update your accounting book, right? So this is what I was talking about. It's an integrated entry that we pass in our Tally, right? So now it is asking you, see, if it says what is the accounting detail for the item Dell laptop i3, so you can allocate up to 3,50,000 rupees, right? So generally this particular item I would want. So in this case, if I have a different purchase ledger created, see, probably uh, again, like I said, different people use different way to manage their books of account or manage the data. So probably I would have created my purchase ledger based on the product, like, purchase of computers or purchase of laptop as one ledger, purchase of monitors as another ledger, and then purchase. We have this three broad things. So monitor, laptop, and external hard drive. So in case if I have created purchase of laptop, purchase of monitor, purchase of external hard disk, there is no harm in doing it. So in that case, you can't have a common ledger, because I am in this example. If you see here in this example, we are buying laptop and also we are buying monitor. That means these three items should go to my purchase of laptop accounting ledger, and these three item should go to my purchase of monitor accounting ledger. So that we cannot do it in this single entry in the common ledger. So if you remove that common ledger, after every item, Tally will now ask you, tell me what is the purchase ledger that you want to put it under, right? So this is where it says accounting detail for Dell laptop. And another, uh, my sincere request to all of you, that especially when you are seeing coming to Tally for the first time, and when you are experiencing the data entry or creation of master or viewing the report, I would advise that please go through all the screen and all the captions that are provided in your main screen, sub screen, so that you will understand them better, right? So by reading this, you will know very clear. Now Tally is asking me the accounting ledger for this amount of 3.5 lakh rupee. Now when I press space bar, you will see here that Tally will list out the ledger accounts. So earlier in the name of the item, it was listing out the stock item. Now it is listing out your ledgers. So I'm going to select my purchase, right? So if I had created three separate purchase ledger, purchase laptop, purchase monitor, purchase external hard disk, then I'm going to select my purchase ledger as purchase laptop because this is my laptop account. Enter. Right now, the second item that I'm going to buy is again, I'm buying the second item that we are buying is Dell laptop i5. Okay, so again 10 numbers at the rate of 55,000 we are buying, right? So now I come here. Now again I'm going to type Dell. You just type it will going to give you the list. So select i5, okay, and then I'm going to say 10 numbers. Okay, I am purchasing at 55,000, right? So 5,50,000. Okay, now again it will ask you what is the accounting ledger. I'm going to select purchases again, right? So this way, right? So every time when you finish your item, it Tally is going to open up for accounting. Supposing, let us assume that you are buying some 25 items. As it is in this purchase invoice, we are buying 6 items and we have only one single purchase ledger. Now to save time, okay, and to do your data entry faster, that is where you have this option called common ledger, right? So that every time after you enter your item and the accounting allocation screen will not pop out. Okay, so now let's come back again. So I'm going to press F12 configuration, and now I'm going to say select common ledger account for item allocation. I'm going to make this as yes, control A, and now we will see that how easy and simple it is, right? So now purchase ledger is already gone on top. That means 3 lakh 50 plus 5 lakh 50, which is 9 lakh. The 9 lakh will get debited to this purchase ledger. Okay, now when you come back, let's come back here. So Dell, we have now selected the common purchase ledger. Now let's see what happens. So earlier we entered this 10 number 35 3,50,000. Now when we entered, the accounting allocation screen was opening. Now let us see what happens. Enter. See, it is automatically going for the next item. The accounting allocation screen will not open because I have now very clearly instructed Tally that all the value of my purchase, put it under my single ledger called purchase. So that is what is my common purchase ledger allocation. So Dell i5, okay, 10 numbers. Again, this is not going to open up the subscreen. So it is asking me the next item. The next item I'm going to buy. What is the next item we are going to buy? Is i7, 10 numbers at 70 each. Okay. So now I'm going to say Dell i7, 10 numbers. Okay. 70,000, 7 lakh, enter. No accounting allocation screen opens. What is the next item I'm buying? Dell monitor 21 inches I'm buying at the 10 numbers. Okay, the rate is 8,000 per number, 80. Okay, then I'm buying Dell monitor 32 inches, 10 numbers, 25,000, 2,50,000. And the last item that I'm going to buy is my Dell monitor 35 inches, 10 numbers, which is 45,000, 4,50,000, right? So if you see here, so these are the items, okay, 10 each of all these items. This is the rate, and we have purchased all this item at this rate. Enter, enter. Okay, so currently we are not doing any GST tax and all those things. That we will do once we get into our taxation module. Okay, so currently just imagine that this is the amount, so don't worry about the tax amount and all those things. Okay, so enter the narration again. I had mentioned it is very important, so you enter the narration, whatever is the narration that you want to enter. Okay, and then you say accept. Okay, so this is how you make your purchase entry. So here, two things you have to remember about the common ledger, okay, and also entering your purchase in the invoice mode as an item invoice. There are two types of invoice mode: item invoice and accounting invoice. Okay, accounting invoice we will come back little later, and then we will see how are we going to pass the accounting invoice also. Okay, so in the next session we will continue. In the next session, uh, how do we pass our sales entry, and then we will see either a debit note or a credit note entry in Tally Prime, and then we will see one purchase entry, one sale entry, and one debit note or credit note in the Tally ERP also. There is a slight difference in your configuration as far as your debit note, credit note is concerned from Tally Prime to Tally ERP, which I will highlight you in the next session. Okay. So thank you all once again for staying till the end. So let's meet in the next session to continue with the inventory transactions. Thank you very much.